Mufti Menk, we heard from you earlier, Jazakumullah khair, on marriage. And it's funny when you're talking about the qualities and when people fall in love before they've even spent any time with each other. And when we speak to people, often I find my friends who are married and I ask them, what are they looking for in their spouse? And even the other way, you almost get like a prototype answer. I'd like someone who's practicing, but not too practicing. They've got to be a good person, they, got to be earning well, etc. And you end up with this kind of very vanilla list of what they want. What would you say, if you could say, of all the questions, 3 top questions that a person should ask their potential spouse or the family should ask when considering marriage?
I think, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, one of the most important things is when you ask a question directly to the person you want to get married to, they may deceive you if they want to marry you sometimes. And a lot of the times people don't realize that. It's so easy to say, yeah, I pray 5 times a day, and then you get married to them and they don't pray. Or I read lots of Quran and they don't even know how to read the Quran. It has happened. So it's easy to say, ask the questions, but you have to know from someone who knows them. That's why the Prophet ﷺ speaks about knowing a person either by having lived with them. In fact, it's Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu who mentions in a specific way about knowing someone either by living with them, traveling with them, or doing business with them. Obviously, when it comes to who you're going to get married to, you would have to either communicate with people who know that person. So say, for example, there is a potential spouse for a daughter of mine. I would need to contact or get hold of some of the crowd that this guy mixes with, just to find out, without having asked him specifically. Because you're going to ask someone, do you smoke? He says, no, I don't. And then when you marry him, he smokes. And then he tells you, well, I thought you were asking me about cigarettes. I just smoke weed. And that's happening. It's happening right now. And there are people who say, well, what's wrong with weed? The whole world does weed. It's a fact. This is what's going on. It's not the way. So as much as we have a list of things, it's not wrong to have a list of things to check. But how you're going to check that is what's of essence. So I've also told people, you have a list. Are you a person whom someone who ticks your list would actually be interested in? That's a very interesting one, because I've had sometimes brothers and sisters say, I need a spouse like this. Some of them are prohibitive, which means it's very difficult to find a person like that. The first question I say, for argument's sake, we found a guy, we brought him here. When he looks at you, do you think he'd be interested in you? I mean, you want a Yusuf alayhi salam. You got to also be someone who's somewhere, up the lines there, man. So it's tricky, but I think it's important to check out character. When they're upset, when they're angered a little bit, how do they react? That says a lot about a person. When things don't go their way, how do they react? That to me will tell you a lot about a person. Similarly, the issue of responsibility. Are they responsible? Is this person responsible? Responsible meaning religiously, obviously, to begin with, responsibility with their prayer with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A few other matters, trustworthiness comes into the issue of responsibility as well. And thereafter, you look at broader character, because the deen has been included. Responsibility, like I said, it would include, as a Muslim, to be a person who prays, to be a person who's got a connection with Allah, who's got conscious, who knows what to do and when to do it and how much of it to do. Wallahu a'lam. May Allah make it easy. As much as we have access to millions of more people than our parents did and our grandparents did, for some strange reason, it is 1,000,000 times more difficult to get married nowadays. Agreed, guys?
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, there goes.